One. All right, boom. Welcome to the masterclass, y'all. This is Self-Publishing 101 Basics. I am your host, Coach LT, also known as Latasha Jimerson. I am also the creator and founder of the Your First Book Club community on Facebook. If you haven't joined, make sure that you join, because that is where we have our every Tuesday night happy hour where we promote each other, support each other, get our book ideas out there. And that's how we do this. That's how we roll. The whole purpose of this webinar tonight is to teach you 5 skills. There's 5 skills that you're going to need to learn in order to be a successful author. So I hope you have your pen and your paper and get ready to write down the 5 skills. Before we get into the 5 skills, we're going to talk about some of the prerequisites. And there's 3. There's 3 prerequisites to get you ready to be successful, right? And so I'm a classroom teacher, so I'm going to give you guys some small brain breaks. I'm going to give you some discussion questions. I'm going to give you an opportunity to play with the emojis. I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk to each other in the chat. I want you to be very interactive, engaging. If I say something and you can relate to it, just give me a thumbs up. If you're feeling what I'm saying, give me a thumbs up. That way I know you're paying attention, you're engaged, and you got it going on. If you have a question, now that I've started, just pop it in the chat and I'm going to address those questions at the very end. Again, I allotted 2 hours for you guys. We already did our technology check, so we're like 20 minutes in, which is okay. I'm going to take a few minutes just to introduce myself. For anybody who's watching this on the replay and you haven't met me yet, you haven't seen me before, you have no idea who I am, you're just scrolling through YouTube like, what is this? Self-publishing. Okay. My name's Latasha. I have been publishing for 5 years. I started just by journaling, collecting all my journals, putting it together in a memoir and putting it out into the world and just saying, you know what? Let me see how this works. I call myself the spaghetti girl because I always throw stuff at the wall and just see what sticks. If it sticks, I keep it. If it don't stick, I don't worry about it, right? So that was 2017. I put that book out. I was teaching full-time as a history teacher at the middle school level. So as you can see, when I did have hair, I was pulling it out. I also had 3 children. They're all grown up now, but I was raising 3 kids and trying to participate in church and trying to volunteer and doing a whole bunch of things with my life. And I realized one day, I was like, you know what? I'm really not doing anything to advance my own dream, right? Like I'm just kind of going to work and taking care of these kids and doing all this stuff and paying bills, but I'm really not doing anything that I'm passionate about. So put my book out. I had a launch party during the summer when I was off, and it was a huge success. I had a ton of people from the community come in, sit down, and they literally sat there at my house. I had it at my house because I didn't know that I was supposed to do anything different. So I invited people into my house, strangers, friends, neighbors, coworkers, and we sat there for 4 hours and they asked me questions about my book. And I was like, wow, it happened so naturally and so organically just from a post that I put out on Facebook. And I honestly was afraid of Facebook in 2017 because I just wasn't using it and I didn't know anything about it. And so when I put that book out and people saw me on Facebook, I had people from high school like, where the hell have you been? We've been on Facebook forever. What are you doing? You published a book? So just because people were curious, when I had the party, people showed up because they were like, what the heck has she been doing for all these years? Like, and I literally just had my head down, teaching, raising kids, and just working. I was not doing anything outside of my job and my house. That was it. So it was really an eye-opener when I had people come over and ask me questions and talk to me about my book. And then one lady was like, when are you going to write another book? And I was like, I don't know. I just put that one out. And she's like, this is a really good book. Like, you need to write another book. And I was like, whoa, okay. So then I wrote another book about parenting. And that one wasn't quite as successful, but it gained a lot. It's actually gaining a lot of attention now because I was on a podcast promoting that book. And so people are just now catching on to that book. It's about parenting. And then I wrote another book about self-care for moms. And I wrote another one about teaching tips. And so I have like 8 books. I have a lot of books. So now what I do is I help other people write their own books because that's what people said they wanted to know from me. There's the second book. There we go. Sorry, boo, mommy lied. That's my second book. It's about parenting, how to raise teenagers. Move it up to the top so we can see the subtitle. The subtitle says, now that you're 18, you can handle the truth. I talk about stuff like Santa Claus and Easter eggs and the Easter bunny and how we told our kids a lot of lies for certain reasons. And people are just catching wind of that book now. It's funny. It actually is very funny. It's a conversation piece between a 40-something mom and an 18-year-old daughter, and how there's this huge generational gap about, different topics. So that book is fun. But what people started asking me was, they were like, well, I want to know, how do you write these books so fast? Because I was doing 1 book a year, and then 2 books a year, and then 3 books a year. And then I started doing collaborations with other authors. And then it just started becoming like, wow, this is a lot of fun. And so then I started creating online courses, and I started doing a coaching program, and I started a podcast. I started doing all these different things. And I noticed people really just wanted to know the process, right? They wanted to know, where do I get started? How do I do it? And how do I make money? Like, let's just get straight to the point, right? So now in my coaching program, it's a 90-day coaching program. And I take you from idea to book to money through the whole process. And I teach you, as you're writing the book and as you're collecting data and you're getting readers' feedback, as you're doing all of that, I'm also teaching you how to market, promote, and sell as you're doing the entire process. So these 5 things that I'm going to have you guys do, you're going to be doing them all at the same time. And that's what makes it very challenging. It's a challenge, but it's also rewarding, because once you learn these skills, it's like any skill. You can put it on your resume. You can put it on your LinkedIn bio. You can put it on your Instagram bio, because 21st century skills includes publishing. People don't realize that. Anytime you make a video, put it on YouTube, you have to click a little button that says publish. Have you noticed that? Anytime you make a live, you go live on Facebook, there's a little button that says publish, right? So everything that you do, you're publishing, because we live in a world now where everything is accessible online, and people in China could be reading your work. People in India, Australia could be reading your work, because everything is accessible now. Okay. All right. So a little bit more about me. Like I said, I'm a history teacher by trade. I'm the author of 8 books. I've created over 25 online courses. I'm so obsessed with courses that I literally have a university. I haven't opened it up yet, but I have a university where people can come in, sit down, and learn how to self-publish everything from A to Z. I know how to teach it all because I've done it all myself. I've produced my own website because I'm a creative, and once I learn something, I just love it. I've created my own website. I've created my own podcast. I have like 13 episodes on the podcast. I've done a blog. That was pretty cool. The blog was pretty raw, because I was talking about how crappy it was to work as a teacher back in 2018, 19, and 2020. When all those school shootings were happening, I was journaling through my blog, and I was sending that out to people who wanted to read it. And it was kind of like a little underground thing, because I was so hurt as a classroom teacher, listening in the news about all these school shootings, and I didn't know where to go to speak out about it. So I used my blog as my platform. And I closed the blog, but every once in a while, someone will find one of my blog posts and they'll send me an email and they'll say, I read your blog. And I'm like, where did you get it? I thought I unpublished it. That's another thing about being a self-published author. You can unpublish your work at any time that you want to because you control it. That's the beauty of being self-published. They call us independent authors, right? Why did you decide to close your blog? Oh, I closed the blog because it was very, very raw, very, very personal, unedited, unscripted. And I didn't want it to be out to the masses because it was really a place for me to vent, to be honest, as a teacher. I needed a safe place to go to vent. And so once I finished venting that year, those 2 years, I didn't need it anymore. So I closed it because now I didn't want it to distract from my other content that I'm creating right now. That's a great question, Ray. Thank you for asking that question. Yeah, my blog was personal. Yeah, teachers are easily attacked for their speech. Yep. And I was not going to be silenced. So I was very honest about what was going on. And even in my personal life too, I was very honest about what was happening with me. So that blog is in a secret location right now. Yes, thank you for being vulnerable. You said what others could not say. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm all about. What else? I have mentored over 50 authors. I've taken them through the process of editing, publishing, selling, all that kind of stuff. I literally call myself the professor of self-publishing. I've given myself that title because in the future, in my mind, there will be universities that teach this. There will be degrees that you can get in self-publishing because why not? There's a degree in all kinds of other stuff. People need to be, especially women, and especially people of color, especially people who are disenfranchised, people whose voices have been silenced. This is a skill that is important. And this is something that's revolutionary because guess what? We say that we have freedom of speech, but we don't because there's consequences for what you say, especially if you work in an industry like education and you are highly scrutinized. So self-publishing for me is not only a skill set, it's an act of being revolutionary because a lot of times the ideas that are different, they get kind of pushed to the side. But just because ideas are different doesn't mean that they can't be heard. So this is important. This is really something that I'm passionate about, but it's also a part of what my purpose is. And I didn't know that until I produced my first book. And then that person said to me, you need to write another book. And I was like, oh, I didn't know how important my story would be or how important my voice would be. I didn't know I was going to quit teaching. I thought I was going to teach like for the rest of my life. And then when people started asking me, well, can you help me with my book? Can you help me with my book? I was like, wow, I need to like turn this into a business because I can't just spend all day helping people with their books. I got to get paid, right? So this is what launched my whole business is because the people were asking me. And now the people who I've helped, they're going out and becoming book coaches because there are hundreds of people that are looking for someone to trust with their story. So this is not a commercial for you to become a book coach, but I just want you to understand what's happening in the world. People are desperate for a safe space to tell their story because they want to be seen, they want to be heard, and they want to be paid. Because right now we're doing a lot of work for a lot of other people and we're not being paid. I'm saying we, educators, authors, workers, mentors, grandparents, parents, like people are struggling, right? People are struggling and they have so many rich lessons from their life and they could be making a ton of money off of their book. So that's why I do this. That's a part of my mission. This is the love of my life, right? But I didn't know until I published that first book. And then everything, it was like dominoes. Everything just kind of happened, right? Okay, so let's get into the 3 prerequisites, okay? There's 3 things that you need before you get to these skills. You have to be ready, okay? So the number 1, the very first prerequisite is your mindset. You have to have the right mindset in order to get out here and start sharing your ideas and becoming a well-known author. You have to have the right ideas in your head, because if you don't, it will be very hard to promote yourself, and it'll be even harder for other people to promote you. Okay, you have to have the right mindset, which means, what are you reading? What books are you reading? Right? Just think about that. I'm going to have you share in a minute, but think about, what kind of books are you reading? What kind of food are you putting into your brain every day? Okay. The food that goes into your mind is what creates your beliefs, right? And then your beliefs turn into your behavior. You behave according to what you believe. And sometimes you have so many beliefs back here in your subconscious mind, you don't even understand what those beliefs are, why they're there, and where they came from. Sometimes you pick up stuff from other people and you're like, oh, I don't really believe that. Well, you're behaving like you believe that. So what are you reading? That's number 1. Number 2, what are you focused on? Number 2 is focus. This is where meditation comes in. Meditation is going to teach you how to quiet your mind. Quiet your mind so that you can hear your own thoughts. Right? You ever been in a room with someone and hear them say, shh, I can't even hear myself think? It gets like that, especially teaching in the classroom. It gets very noisy to the point where you cannot hear yourself think. So you have to learn how to meditate and focus. Okay, number 3, what are your habits? What are your habits? One of the habits that an author must have is journaling every single day. Writing in your journal every single day. Doesn't even matter what you're writing as long as you're practicing it. Because for those of you that have a science background, you can help me out here. There's something that happens between your brain and your hands. There's a mind-body connection that happens when you write on the paper, right? I'm not talking about typing or texting. I'm not talking about emailing. I'm talking about literally in your notebook every single day. I call it brain dump for people that come into my program. It's called brain dump. We brain dump every day for 10 minutes. We set that timer. We dump it all out, because your mind has a lot of trash. You got a lot of head trash that you're picking up from other people, and you have to clean that out. Just like you take a shower and brush your teeth. You have to get these things out. They got to go somewhere. Okay. All right. Here's one of my favorite books. Those are the 3 habits: mindset, the 3 prerequisites: mindset, focus, and habits. Okay. Now I'm going to wrap back around to the mindset part. Reading The Big Leap. There's a book. It's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. He talks about the zone of genius. You can get this for free 99 on YouTube. You can listen to the audio over and over and over again. He talks about how we go to this level and then we get uncomfortable. And then we're like, oh, this is uncomfortable. So we knock ourselves back down. But then we're like, we get inspired and it's a new year. And then we elevate ourselves and we start hanging out with coaches and communities and we start doing things. And then we go up here and we're like, ooh, look at, I'm making progress. And then we get uncomfortable and then we knock ourselves back down, right? Look at your income. Look at your sales. Look at your weight. Okay, look at your mind. You start elevating yourself. You get so excited. You hang out with the right people. You're eating all the right things. And then something happens. Life hits you. Something happens and you bump yourself right back down. Because you're like, ooh, that's uncomfortable. I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I don't know what that level looks like. I don't really want to be at that level, or I don't think I deserve it. Uh-oh, this is a lot of money I'm making right now. This is a huge promotion. I don't know about this. Can I handle it? Right? So those are your 3 prerequisites. You have to have these things in place, because when you become an author, if you go viral and your mind is not right, you're not going to be successful for very long. Right? It's like people that hit the lottery. It's like those athletes that are 18 years old and they sign that contract for $10 million. All of a sudden they're rich. I made it, Mom. We out the ghetto now. And they end up right back in the ghetto 2 years later, because they haven't mastered their mindset. They have no financial literacy. They have no idea what they're supposed to be doing with their money. And we all did it. We all did it. I still owe Sally Mae today from 1997. I still owe her, right? Because I had no financial literacy. I didn't understand what these student loans meant and how much I was going to have to pay back and all that interest, right? So when people do become successful as an author, speaker, influencer, if they don't have the right mindset, they're going to knock themselves right back down, because they're going to be like, dang, I don't deserve it. I can't handle it, whatever it is, right? Okay. For your meditation, anything that you find, and Tina could probably help you with this, guided meditations. Tina's a guru on this. Guided meditations to help you focus. I started with a 5-minute meditation because my attention span is like the size of a gnat, right? When I first started this, when I published my books in 2017, I started meditating in like 2018, because I was like, oh my goodness, I'm all over the place. And then I went up to a 10-minute meditation, 20-minute meditation, and the most I can do is a 30-minute meditation. I just pat myself on the back like, you go, girl. And then sometimes I meditate in the shower and I'm walking on a walk. Whatever you have to do to quiet your mind, please do it. Okay. All right. I want to talk about journaling, because that's one of the prerequisites. What I do when my clients come into my program, I tell them, get a yellow notebook. That's going to be for all your bright ideas. You ever wake up in the middle of the night with a really bright idea, and then you don't write it down and you're like, shoot, where did it go? So I teach my clients, get a yellow notebook for the bright ideas. Okay, there you go. Look at Tina, got a bunch of bright ideas. She got all kinds of, yes, yes, you need it, right? And I tell them, get a dark colored. You can get dark blue, brown, black for your dark thoughts. I tell them, you need to write down all of the things that bother you, all of the emotional baggage. Put that in a separate journal and take it out when you're ready. Put it away when you're not ready, right? Don't let them dark things interfere with your bright ideas. You can't afford to do that. Oh, that was a quotable. Don't let those dark things interfere with your bright ideas, because they can. They can and they will. Especially, have you ever been, thank you for typing that in there, Tina. Have you ever been in a situation where you had a huge opportunity? You had a huge opportunity right in front of you, and you were going for it, full speed ahead. You were excited, you were focused, and then something happened and just knocked the damn wind out of you. Like you had it going, and then all of a sudden you're like, what in the world? I thought I was gonna do something this time. And all of a sudden you fell off. You fell off. The new year hit, you was gangbusters during the first week, and then the second week you were like, I'm just gonna eat the damn chips because I'm stressed. You ever felt like that? That opportunity just slipped away because of what? Something happened. Some kind of darkness interrupted your bright idea, your bright opportunity. It came, it clouded your vision. You lost your glasses. Something happened. This is why we have to write things down. We're not even talking about your book yet. See, this is why it's prerequisites. Before you even come into my coaching program, you have to deal with this stuff. Because if you don't, all that stuff is going to spill into your book, and that's going to impact your readers. Your readers don't need all of the emotional baggage stuff. They need the lesson, they need the moral of the story, and they need the solution for their life. Okay, a lot of people get mixed up and they're like, well, I don't want to write a book because I don't want anyone knowing about my stuff, because I have a lot of stuff that I don't want people to know about. And people don't care about your stuff. They want to know what you could teach them to help them transform and get rid of their own stuff. They're looking for the solution. They're not looking for they don't care about your personal business. They don't care about your issues. They really don't. They want to know, what's the moral of the story and how do I make a transformation? How do I get from where I am to where you are in the fastest possible way? How do I get from A to Z done like that? That's why my first book wasn't my most popular book. My first book was my memoir. It was about my personal journey through anxiety, depression, overwhelm at work, teaching and all of that stuff. People bought it, they enjoyed it, they appreciated it. But the most popular book that I have today is the one that's on that shelf, and that's the Your First Book Workbook. Because people come to me and they're like, I don't care about your drama. How do you get that book done? Thank you for sharing. That was nice. But I need to know how I get that book done. ha. So that's what I do. I'm like, oh, that's my purpose in life. I'm here to teach people how to take that stuff out of their head, put it in the book, get the lesson, sell it, make the money, and reinvest. That's what we do here. We get those ideas out, put it into the product, sell the product, and reinvest. You can't ever stop investing in yourself. You constantly have to, you got to take more courses. You got to hire more coaches. Every time you get to the next level, it's a new devil. One of my mentors says, new level, same devil. I don't agree with that. I think it's new level, different devil, because it's a different thing. You know, the person that makes 10,000 a month, if you make 100,000 a month, you got a little bit of a different devil to deal with. You got the IRS to deal with. So it's a little different. But every time you try to do something, you have to reinvest every single time. So you sell the book, you take part of that, you put it into the next book, or you put it into the next project, or you put it into whatever class you're taking, right? I have 4 college degrees, 4. That's why Sally Mae is still calling me, because I keep borrowing money. And I don't care, because as soon as I hit my million, Sally Mae is going to get cashed out. She already know. She already know. I take out a lot of loans to do what I got to do for me because this is important to me. This right here. Every time I elevate this, my income goes up. Every time my income goes up, I put more income back into me. My income generates my output because I got to invest in me. You got to invest in you. You are your best asset. Just got to work on getting rid of some of them liabilities, ladies. Okay. All right. So those are your 3 prerequisites. I'm going to get into the 5 essential skills, but I want to do a brain break real quick. And I want you guys to type in the chat one takeaway. One takeaway before we get into the 5 skills. One takeaway. What have you taken away so far? Okay. Kyoko, I like the idea of a journal for dark ideas and one for light. Yep. Dolores, invest in yourself. Ray, we have to give people, readers, the solution. Absolutely. Okay, Tina, make takeaway, reinvest into yourself. Yes. Oh, my takeaway. Okay. To Alicia, my one takeaway is that people don't care about your business. Yeah, good information. My first book, I'm working on this actual diary. Yeah, like they empathize and they connect and they appreciate your honesty and your vulnerability, but they're hungry and they're thirsty for the solution. So they will appreciate what you share. But yeah, thank you. Jennifer, be honest, have a nice way to get the thoughts out in a journal or talk to a friend. Another one of your writing of books. Yep. Readers are interested in how they can be transformed. I like to learn more about meditating. Yep. That's your girl, Tina. Yes. Okay, let's do a quick, I've got where you guys are from. Let's do a really quick learning styles. Let's do, if you're a visual learner, just put V in the chat, visual learner. If you would rather see it, visual. If you're an auditory, put A for auditory. If you're a kinesthetic, put K for kinesthetic. If you're more than one of those, put both. Because for me, I am visual and kinesthetic. I'm not auditory. I struggle with being, listening. Okay. Sean, you said both. Which visual, kinesthetic, or auditory? Okay, awesome. What is kinesthetic? Kinesthetic is people who love to work with their hands. They love to do puzzles. They love to mold clay. These are from me working with kids. A lot of my kids that are athletes are kinesthetic. So you have to get them out of their seats and teach them by letting them do, because they're not going to sit there and listen to you all day. They're going to get bored out of their mind and start misbehaving. So even as adults, we need to know what we are. Perfect. All of them. Yeah. And you can learn, you have the basic, you have a dominant modality, but you can actually teach yourself how to be proficient in all of those areas so that you don't miss anything. Okay. All right. For those of you that are extroverts, type extrovert in the chat. That means you just love being social. You love going out, interacting with people. People just light you up and energize you. That's extrovert. Introvert, you want to just stay home and read a book in your pajamas. I'm an introvert, y'all, but I'm a professional extrovert because I understand with sales and marketing, you need to be extroverted. And being a classroom teacher, I taught myself to be extroverted. Yeah, Pastor Yolanda said, I'm an extrovert. Yes, beautiful. Okay. All right, so let's get into these 5 skills. 5 skills, so you guys can number your page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would actually give at least half a page for each one because there's a lot. In my little notebook, I have a full page for each one. Okay, so these are your 5 essential skills. And this is the order, okay? When you learn these skills, let me just tell you what's going to happen to you when you learn these skills. And you can't just learn them in one day. You're being exposed now. And then as we go through the weeks and, you know, the happy hours and all the other stuff that we do, you're going to find opportunities to practice these different skills. And you're going to be like, oh, that's what she was talking about. Right? Oh, okay. So the skills that you're going to learn are specifically for people who are nonfiction authors. I don't deal with fiction authors. I deal with nonfiction authors. That's memoirs, autobiographies, that's self-help, that's personal development. That is professional development, educational types. That's the type of manuscript I deal with. I do not deal with fiction. I have people in my community that deal with fiction, but I don't go through that process of fiction writing. That's completely different. And then children's books, people who have children's books are in my community, but I don't help with that process because that's a whole different animal, okay? So the skills that I'm sharing with you, they're based on my 5 years of research doing this for myself and helping other people for nonfiction, okay? Very important that you make that distinction because different genres have different rules. And different genres have different audiences. And they're used to different patterns. Okay, so I had to throw that out there right away. So when you become an author and you're a self-published author, here's another distinction. There's the traditional author that's traditionally published by a traditional publishing house, right? Some of those big publishing houses, that's the traditional way. And then there's the self-published author who's also called an indie author or independent author, indie for short, right? Independent authors publish their own work on their own using different tools, but there's 2 things that we control as self-published authors. Number 1, we control the content, okay? So the content comes from our minds, okay? The second thing that we control are the royalties. These are the 2 reasons why people choose self-publishing. Because if you go with a traditional publishing company, now you have to sign a contract. And they're going to tell you what you can do with your content. So if you want to turn it into a song, you have to get their permission. You want to turn it into a movie, you got to get their permission. You want to turn it into a whatever, you got to get their permission. A course, you got to get their permission, right? And then the royalty split is different. Every contract is different. Every company is different. The royalty split is not helpful to authors. It's usually 10, 15, 20%. Okay, it's not a really good deal. If you get more than 20% on a traditional contract, that's really good. The self-published author, the way that I teach you in my program, you can get 90% of your royalty. 90% of your money. That's what I teach. And I'm starting to move away from Amazon. I'm moving away. If you're paying attention to the news, paying attention to Google, there are lots of authors that are starting to move their content off of Amazon and put it onto different platforms. That's what I'm teaching. Most people will not teach you that. They'll take you straight to Amazon and say, that's it. That's the be all. No. If you look at celebrities that are writing memoirs, Take a look at where they're selling their memoirs. They might be on Amazon as well, but take a look at what the celebrities are doing. That's what I'm teaching people. Okay. All right. So these 5 skills, they're going to save you money. They're going to save you time. They're going to save you energy. They're going to save you embarrassment. They're going to save you some heartache. They're going to save you some stress, some overwhelm, some anxiety, and some humiliation. Trust me, I know, because I've already experienced all the pain with putting things out that aren't quite ready yet. I've made a lot of mistakes. And so I can tell you right now that these 5 things that you're going to learn are going to be a game changer for you. If you just take one of these things and you do it over the next 30 days, it's going to be a game changer for you. A game changer. Because I've made a ton of mistakes. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. Thumbs up if you're ready for the 5 skills. Skills to pay your bills, y'all. Only 3 people want the skills to pay their bills. The rest of y'all ain't gonna pay your bills. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 thumbs up. I'm still waiting for a couple more thumbs up. You know me, I'm a classroom teacher. I'll wait. You ever seen them teachers? I'll wait. My kids make fun of those teachers. They're like, how come you teachers have your cardigans and you close the cardigans and you go, I'll wait. One of my daughters said that. She had me down too. She was like, this is what you do. I'll wait. Jennifer's like, I go like this. We all do it. We're like, okay, I'll wait. All right. So essential skill number 1, and this is very obvious, but it's not obvious. The first skill that an author needs to have is the skill of writing, right? And it's not academic writing. It's not writing for the teacher. Okay. People think, I can't write a book because I'm not a good writer. I got a D in English. I can't write a book. That's not true. Because you're not writing for the teacher. You're not writing for the professor. You're not in college. You're an author. You're writing for an audience and they're looking for a solution. So you have to take off your school brain and put on your marketing hat, right? Teachers got different hats. You got to put on your marketing hat. So when you're writing, you need to be clear, concise, non-academic, and that needs to be at an 8th grade reading level, which is what most of the world reads at. 8th grade and below. Okay, so for those of y'all that have been to technical schools, trade schools, colleges, universities, all of those degrees don't mean nothing. Sorry. I got 4 degrees. None of those degrees qualified me to do what I do today. None of them. It's about your message. It's about, can you connect with the people who need it? People who are reading and buying books, they're not academics. These are regular people who are looking for help. People who are struggling, y'all. Okay? So when you write, you need to write the least amount of words possible. Okay? No one is reading 300-page books anymore. We're not doing that. We're reading a 50-page book. We're reading a 10-page ebook, right? We're reading maybe a 150-page professional development book, maybe. 180 to 100 pages is ideal, but it depends on what you're talking about, okay? When you're writing, you need to consider your audience. And you need to consider the language that they use, the words that they use, the hashtags, the quotables, the things that are going to be on a t-shirt, a hat, a mug. Okay, your book is a marketing tool. Okay, and so your writing is going to be crucial to people connecting. Okay, the other thing is your writing is just, it's your foot in the door. So I don't want you to feel like, oh, well, I have a book now, so I'm done. No, actually, your book is the first piece of the foundation of your whole house, right? So you got your house, you got the foundation. That's your first product. And then you're going to have a whole bunch of more products on top of that. Your book just says, hey, look, I know how to explain myself, right? And so people can be like, oh, who are you? Here's my book. You can give it to them for free. You can give it to them for cheap, but it just gets you in the door. And they're like, oh, you have a book. Okay, well, what else you got? Because when people fall in love with you, you get super fans, they're going to buy everything you got. So you better be ready. If you go viral tonight, they'll buy everything you got. Okay. So just think of the book as it's just the first step. Okay. All right. So that's writing. Number two, this is where people get stuck. Number two, people come through my gates and they say, oh, I got this, because I deal with a lot of educators. I know how to write. We good. I'm like, okay, that's just the first step. That's just the first skill. The next skill is revising. Okay, revising. There's two different things you're going to be doing with revising. You're going to be self-editing. Okay, and then you're going to be asking other people to give you some feedback. Okay, so you're doing two things. You're editing it yourself, you're revising it yourself, but you're also getting peers. That's why we do peer reviews. Okay. Now, when you are revising your work, you have to let your work sit for 3 to 4 days. Okay. Give your eyes a rest, because when you're an author and you're reading your own work, lean in and listen to this one, because this is crucial. When you read your own work, you're not really reading it. You're thinking about it. You're not reading it. You're thinking about it. So you're like, oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. But then when you give it to someone else and they come back and they say, oh, well, they ask questions. And then you're like, well, I thought I was trying to say, the way you said it and the way they received it is two different things. That's why you cannot self-edit forever. You have to get to the point where you're okay with accepting feedback from other people. So when you're going through the process of writing your book, I have my authors get 10 beta readers, and we do a whole beta testing. And I have worksheets that we give out to all the beta readers, and they come back and they share, and then they revise. I tell the authors, don't revise anything until you've got the peer reviews back. Because now the peer reviews are going to tell you what they want. They're going to tell you what they want. They're going to tell you what they don't want. They're going to tell you, majority of the time, you need to take that part out, because that's not even necessary. Because again, we have all these college degrees and we've been educated and we feel like we need to elaborate. So most of the time, what we write is way more than what's necessary. So that's why before you revise, you have to get other people to give you feedback. A lot of people, and I did this for my first 3 books, I just wrote it, put it on Amazon, sold them, and I didn't ask nobody for their feedback until later. No, no. Today, what I do is I wait for people to ask me for something. And I say, oh, you want to know about that topic? Oh, okay, I'll write an ebook on it. And I'll say, what exactly do you want to know? Just like this class. I ask people, what do you want me to teach you in this class? Well, I need to know where to get started. Okay, let's talk about it. There's prerequisites to get started. Okay. How do I get to the sales and the marketing part? We're going to get to that part too. Okay. All right. So writing was the first skill. The second skill is revising. You don't ever want to do any revising if you haven't gotten any feedback. Okay. All right. Here's the next one. Number 3. Number 3 is more fun. If you're an extrovert, number 3 is so fun. If you're an introvert, number 3, no. Number 3, you're not going to want to do it. Number 3 is the advertising. It's advertising. It's not fair because when you're not a celebrity, you have to do it all yourself in the beginning. When you don't have a budget to pay for ads, you just have to do it yourself. And it's like going up a hill and pushing a boulder. You're going up the hill, you're pushing a boulder. You're like, when is this going to be over? And then one day you push it and it goes, whoa, over. And you're like, oh, this is awesome. But like, you have to do it for a while. Okay. So when you're advertising, you're putting out announcements. Remember, you're not paying for ads. You're just putting out announcements. You're putting out flyers. You're asking people to support you, right? You're asking people to, tell other people about what you're doing. It's just like if you're planning a baby shower, if you're planning a wedding, if you're planning a birthday party, a retirement party. Like my birthday's February 7th, I'll be 47. You guys are going to see all kinds of stuff. If you were annoyed before, you're really going to get annoyed by the stuff that I do for my birthday because I'm doing all kinds of promotions for my birthday. Stuff is going to be $7, $47 because I'm going to be 47 on February 7th. Like you got to play with it and have fun when you do your advertising. Make it meaningful. Okay. Advertising can be fun. It can be very, very fun. You have to make it that way. Okay. All right. So that's number 3. Number 4. Number 4 is the publishing. Now we're on publishing. Okay. Number 4, you're going to publish your work either or all of the above. You can publish it wherever you want to. Amazon, Barnes and Noble. They got Lulu.com. They got BookBaby. They have all kinds of hybrid publishing companies. They got vanity press companies. There's so many companies popping up now. There's so many book coaches popping up now everywhere. So it's kind of hard to decide, well, where am I going to publish? The first place to start is Amazon. It's a global platform. It's going to get your name out there, right? But don't stay there forever. Move your stuff either to a website or a landing page. What's the difference? The website is kind of fancy. It's kind of for people who have money who want to pay that every month. The landing page is for people who are super cheap. Like me, when I started, one landing page. That's it. Matter of fact, you don't even really need a landing page because now they have stuff like Venmo, Cash App. I don't think I had that when I first started publishing. I don't think we had Venmo or Cash App. You got PayPal links. You just send somebody a PayPal link and they can pay for your book. So honestly, don't get fancy. Don't get fancy until you have a budget for a website. A lot of us, including me, spend too much money on too many technology tools that we don't even need. We don't even need all these tools because back in the day, people would just have a box of books and they just go sit at the coffee shop and sell their books. Or if you really want to get grimy, you mix tapes from the trunk of your car. Have your mixtapes. I still have books in the trunk of my car. I sell them like mixtapes. You do what you got to do because you're an indie author. You don't have no marketing team. You are it right now. Okay. All right. So publish your book on Amazon, publish it on your website, publish it on a landing page. Okay. The landing page is going to take us into the last skill. Skill number 5. If you're with me, type a 5 in the chat. If you're ready for number 5. And I'll wait. I'll wait. Okay, number 5 is actually my favorite one. Okay, number 5 starts with an S. Type in the chat what you think number 5 is. Selling. Sell, satisfaction. I'm getting satisfaction every time I make a sale, baby. Sell your ass off. This is the part where it really gets fun, okay? What is selling? It's the exchange of goods and services. It's where money exchanges hands, right? Somebody gets a product, you get money. That's the fun part, okay? But this is the part that everybody makes really, really scary because they're just afraid somebody's going to say no, okay? So have your books available online on a landing page and have your books in your house, okay? Have your books, I have my books up here, okay? I have my books everywhere that I go. I have my books. I do a lot of virtual events, so I have links that I drop for my books, okay? How do you get people to buy your books? The only way you can get people to buy your books is if you talk about your books, okay? Now, I'm getting ready to give y'all a sales pitch right now, and you don't even know I've been leading you into this. Everything that I've been teaching y'all is in my workbook right there. That workbook is on sale for $97. If you go to the link in my bio on Facebook, there's a link, click, boom, you can buy it. There's worksheets in there on how to get people to volunteer to be a peer reviewer. There's worksheets on how do you conduct a peer review with the beta testing? How does all that work? All right. Copyright. If you got questions about how do I protect my work from being copied, it's in that book. Everything is in that book. Everything that I teach, that's my curriculum. So when I'm talking to people, I'm sharing with people, look, somebody asked, what's the name of the book? It's called, well, let me show you real quick. Since you did ask, this is not a sales pitch anymore because she asked. So you go to my Facebook and in my bio, there is a link. You click on that link. It takes you directly, no playing games, takes you directly to my book. This is everything that I teach in my online course in a book. So the normal price is hundreds of dollars because people pay me thousands to coach them. So why would I sell my book for like 20 bucks? People ask me that too. Isn't that a ridiculous amount of money that you're selling your book for? It is, because I've done a lot of work to get this information to you. So either you're going to buy it or you're not. You can buy it or you can go Google. But I've put everything in here for you. So you click it, it's $97. You click it and you buy it. And that's it. You check out. Okay. So Your First Book Workbook, that's the name of the book. Okay. And I wasn't even going to show you that yet, but she asked. Some people will ask and then they won't buy it. That's okay. It's still there, right? So landing page is powerful. The way that I sell my products, I only have one physical. That's my physical product. The rest of my products are online courses. You can hire me to coach you for an hour. So that's an hour coaching session. I have a 5-day challenge that I do that's coming up next month. For those of you that want to get a book done in 5 days, I sell that online. So there's really no shipping or handling for me because I do everything online digital. Okay. So the power of the landing page is that people click it, they read about it, they buy it. Okay. The best place to go to create a landing page is Payhip, Payhip, Payhip. Okay. That's the best place to go because they don't charge you a monthly fee. Okay. If you go, Jennifer, if you go back to Facebook and click the link in my bio, it shows you at the very bottom, it says Payhip. That's how I created the landing page, which gives you the connection to get into my book. That's what people are doing. They're selling ebooks online, they're selling digital copies online, and they're saving a lot of money not having to pay for shipping and handling. Some people give their book away for free on a landing page. Why would we ever do that? I've done both. I've sold books through landing pages and I've given away books for free. Here's why I give away books for free. Because when I first started, I only had 20 people on my email list. That was just 20 people that were my friends that supported me with everything, right? I started giving away free ebooks. And the currency that they were giving me was their emails. So they got my work for free, but I got their email. So at this point, I've been doing this for 5 years. I probably have almost 1,000 emails, which is still not a lot of emails. Most of these influencers out here have like 30,000 emails. But the thing about it is my email list is active and engaged. I know a lot of these people, I know them. They're in my Facebook group. They're in my phone. We have a tight connection because I'm constantly asking for feedback. Hey, what did you think about the book? Hey, what did you think about this? I'm constantly reaching out to people over and over, sending them voice clips. Hey, how did you like the book? Hey, can you give me a review on Amazon? Right? And so you would think, Sean asked the question, don't people get annoyed? People do get annoyed by me. And then they just unsubscribe to my list. No problem. But they don't unsubscribe. They get annoyed and pissed off and they complain and they delete it. But they always open my emails because they want to know what the hell I'm doing now. Because I'm always doing something. People get mad at me and they delete them. And they're like, but they're like, what are you doing next month? When you gonna have another book coming out? Because it's always a party. It's always a party over here. It's always fun, right? So when you engage with people and you connect with people, that's what they want. People want connection. They want to buy the book from you, but they want to know, well, do you have a coaching program? Can you coach me? Like, can you teach me? Imagine if a teacher showed up. Imagine this. Teacher shows up, college professor, and says, here's my book. You guys can buy it. You buy the book from the professor. And then the professor walks out the door and says, okay, you got the book. You're done. Bye. Why would you just have a book? This is life. You need the book. You need the course. You need the audio. You need everything, especially you trying to lose weight. You need that trainer right there. And you need the book with all the recipes that you're supposed to go cook. Right? I'm hands-on. I need you to show me. I need you to sit next to me for a few days. Right? Don't just leave me with a book. Like authors, we have to start thinking of ourselves as the complete business. the complete brand. You are the brand. You are the business. Your book is just a little tiny little piece of what you do. When they get that book, they're going to want to sit next to you and ask you questions. That's why you charge for that. They're going to want to come to your class. If you don't have a class, you better make one fast. That's another quotable. You ain't got a class, you better make one fast. You better make one up, because the questions are going to come. Do you have a class? Do you coach? Do you speak? Can you come to my stage? You better be ready to charge people $5,000 to get on their stage. $15,000, $20,000, because that's what people are getting paid to get on stage, right? That's what people are getting paid. Hey, you want me to be on your stage? I've done virtual stages and gotten paid, because now I just tell people, I don't show up unless you're paying me, because I can do this from home. So why would I get on a plane? Like, you got to start thinking of your time and your energy as money. That's another quotable. Damn. You got to start thinking of your time and your energy as money. Stop giving away your time. Stop giving away your energy. You need to itemize everything you do. You want the ebook? It's this much. You want the paperback? It's this much. You want the audiobook? It's this much. That's 3 products right there. Boom. You want the online course? It's this much. You want a coaching session? It's this much. You want a 90-day coaching program? It's this much. Do you want me to work with you for a year? You want to be in my mastermind group? It's this much. Do you want to be in my membership? This is what authors are doing now. They're building full communities, and people are paying big dollars to be a part of these communities, because people want to learn from the gurus. So if you're an author, you have a book, you're a guru. And pat yourself on the back for still being here, because we've been on here for a long time. But this is what you need to be doing if this is your dream. Dr. King had a dream. We're still talking about him because he didn't stop. He was only 39 years old when he got murdered. But look at what he did. He impacted the whole world. He wasn't taking breaks. That man was on fire doing it. And he didn't want to be the face of the movement. He just wanted to be a pastor when he grew up. But he got thrust into the limelight, and he wrote a bunch of books, but he got pushed out there because he had a gift. And he was like, oh, same thing happened to me with my book. People were like, you need to write another book. You need to talk about this. You need to come over here. And I was like, I don't want to do all of that. I just want to kind of sit home in my pajamas. But now I see this is important. People are looking. People are searching. The stuff that I've learned about my books and throwing things out and making mistakes, I've spent, and I don't announce this to people, I have spent over $100,000 on coaching for myself. Over $100,000. Over the past 5 years, I've hired coaches who, you look them up. If I tell you their names, you look them up. They're on the Forbes 500 list. Those are the rooms I sit in, because I'm like, I gotta know, sis, what you doing? What are you doing? How do I need to, how much is it? I'm dropping it, because I want to know everything about how you got to where you are. You're a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. You're a multi-millionaire. I want to be a multi-millionaire. How do you become that? You have to sit in the room with people who are where you want to be, right? You have to sit in the room with people who are where you want to be. If you want to produce another book, you want it to be bestseller, kick it with people that are bestseller. One of my books was bestseller. It was a collaboration. But did the bestseller give me any more money? No. I have that on my resume. So what? It didn't give me any more money. So what's the point of the title? So you got to think about what you want to be, why you want to be that, what your goals are, what your dreams are, And then you got to go find somebody that you can hire, who you can sit down with and say, hey, I got questions. I have your book, but I got questions. How much does it cost for me to sit down with you and ask you a question? You can't sit down with Oprah and ask her a question, right? You can't just sit down with people. You have to pay to play. There's always an investment, right? Think of yourself from now on, when you leave this space, you're an expert, you're an authority. If you have a book, people should be paying you for the book. They should be paying you to talk about the book. They should also be paying you to sit next to you to ask you questions about the book. There's a lot of different things that you can get paid for. You have to itemize it. Okay, everything you do is worth something. So itemize it. Okay. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say about that. I have several other master classes that are coming up. I'm going to break down all of those skills and I'm going to make them each their own separate masterclass, because you can't learn all of this in one night. I see your eyes rolling in the back of your head. It's a lot. But when you get all of this and you pull it together and you see how it applies to your life, you're like, damn, that's what she was talking about. When you get these things integrated, you'll be like, now the money's coming. What? You got to make it easy for people to pay you. That's what the landing page does. The landing page makes it easy. They go there, they read about the product, they make a decision right there. There's no haggling. It's either they want it or they don't. That's what the landing page is. The website is too complicated. There's so many things going on with the website, right? It's too much. If you're just starting out, don't worry about having a website. Do your landing page. I will sit with you and hold your hand and walk you through how to do your landing page. That's a coaching session. Normally, I charge anywhere from $250 to $500 an hour for a coaching session. February is my birthday, is $47 because I'll be 47 on February 7th. So you want to hire me for a coaching session, is $47. I'll sit down with you for 1 hour. If you've worked with me for an hour and you have that experience, you know I get a lot of stuff done in 1 hour. I don't play. I go from A to Z. Let's get straight to the point. Let's just get to it. I don't give you a lot of fluff because this is about your money. Okay. All right. So it's question time. We have a little bit of time for questions. Go ahead and I'm going to actually stop the recording now and we're going to do a Q&A. Okay. All right. So for those of you guys that are watching this on the replay, thank you so much. If you have any questions, just literally, I'm going to show you guys where to go if you're watching this on the replay. Literally everything you need to know about what I just talked about is on my Facebook page, because I'm starting to move everything over to Facebook. And if you guys don't have a community, oh my gosh, you need to get into my community because it's on fire. Not that one, this one. 5 steps to self-publish your first book. Those 5 steps are those 5 essential skills that I just gave you guys. And the acronym for that is WRAPS, like wrap your Christmas gift. Okay, so WRAPS. So I said writing, revising, advertising, publishing, and selling. Those are your 5 skills, which are the 5 steps. Okay, so you know us teachers, we like the acronym. So we're gonna do some raps, not yo MTV raps, but head wraps. No, not even head wraps, right? Yeah, head wraps. And then I have another group for people who don't have a book at all. Like you've never done a book before. That's for your first book is for people who just need to get in here, get their feet wet. So if you know people who have no idea, but they think they might, have them come into this group, because that way they can just get basic information. This masterclass will be in here for these people. Okay. All right. So again, for those of you that want to get my workbook, go to Latasha Jimerson, go to the link in my bio, click on that. My workbook is here. For those of you guys that need hand holding, I need hand holding. When I'm learning something new, I need somebody to sit next to me and hold my hand. That's what this one is for. One-on-one coaching. Okay. This is 47. Okay. This is a landing page. I broke it up into several pieces. Okay. For those of you guys that want to do the 5-day challenge, it's coming up. I turned it into an online course. That's coming up in February 21st. Okay. So you won't be able to buy this. I think I'm going to open it up on next week, and you have to pay full price, $555. Right now it's on a pre-sale because I'm still building it. Notice how this says powered by PayHip at the bottom. PayHip is so easy. I can teach you how to use PayHip in 1 hour. Very easy. Set up your whole landing page in 1 hour. I helped Dolores set up a website in 1 hour. And then we went back and we added more levels to it. But I'm teaching landing pages now. I'm not even teaching websites anymore, because these platforms, guys, girls, these platforms are just learning how to take more and more and more money and give us less and less and less resources. They don't even pick up the phone when we have a problem with customer service. What? But you want to charge me a monthly fee? What? Make it make sense. Anyways, that's why I have a job, because I'm able to fill in the gap and help people with this kind of stuff, because this is what I do all day. And I did it for myself, and I help other people do it for themselves. And I want you to get the most amount of money, because you work hard on your books. She works hard for the money. So hard for it, honey. I feel the spirit. Y'all trying to go to sleep. I know East Coast. I know East Coast. I'm sorry. Okay, if y'all watching this on the replay, we're gonna say bye now. Everybody say bye to the replay people. I'm gonna shut down the recording now, and we're gonna do Q&A. If you got Q&A, give it to me. If you don't have anything, then just have a good night, y'all. I love you.